The question for today, should you pay off debt or should you invest? Everybody's always trying to figure out how to balance this and how to figure it out. And you've got all these just scholarly minds like Robert Kiyosaki, who's a big debt guy that says like, get more debt to invest. And you've got people like Dave Ramsey, who's like, never have any debt, just invest all your money or pay off all of your debt before you can invest your money. So who's right on this topic? I think there's a way to kind of roll this all into one big answer of where you can do several things. You can cross off all of these on your list, but there's a couple things we need to figure out before we do this. It's a little bit more complicated. We're going to get into all of it. I'm going to do it as quick as I can, but let's start right now. The first thing you got to do is you got to figure out how much debt are we dealing with and how much income do we have coming in? If you're just living under soul crushing debt and you don't have any money coming in, why are you worried about trying to figure out how to invest? If there's nothing left over at the end of the month and all you're doing is just paying your minimum balances on your credit cards and your bills and there's nothing left over, you're not ready to invest in anything right now anyways. You got to figure out how to cut your expenses and you got to figure out how to get more money coming in so that you can have a little bit of leftover, because you're not paying down debt or doing anything extra investing wise until you can get that under control. So I see it all the time. People are worried about what they have to do 3 steps ahead of where they actually are right now. So get your right now figured out, because you're right now with soul crushing debt and not enough income. You're asking the wrong question about pay off debt or investing. You're not ready for investing. You got to figure out, reduce expenses, increase income, and then get that debt paid down. So that's your answer for if you're in that situation. The next situation is if you do have some extra money coming in and you do have some debt you need to be paid off, or you're paying a little bit extra on your payments. This is where you start to wrestle with this question. But you still have other things you need to be worrying about before you just are paying off debt or investing. Like, do you have an emergency fund set up? Do you have the rainy day money put away? Because you also need to be putting money into an emergency fund account. So if you haven't been thinking about that and it's just one or the other, you've got to also set that emergency fund up. Also, do you even know how to invest? Like, are you just trying to figure out how to buy Bitcoin or Tesla or the next big stock that everybody's talking about? Because you can't just, if you don't know how to invest, like there's safe things you can do, like just go buy mutual funds or ETFs and that sort of thing. That's fine. That's where you should be thinking with your brain about when you are ready to start investing. That's where you should start putting your money. But I have a better solution, I think, for most of the people who are asking this question are beginners and they're trying to figure out, they want to invest, but they have debt. So if you're a beginner, like the next question you also need to know is, do you own any real estate? What's your housing situation? And I think for these beginners wrestling with this question, the advice that I would give you, that if you're renting your house, you have some debt, but you also have disposable income and you have some wiggle room, is pay off your debt by reducing your housing expense to 0. And you can do that by using house hacking, some people call it, or I like to call it buying a duplex. You buy a duplex, you live in one side of the property, you rent out the other side of the property. This side of the property should just about cover your mortgage payment. And if you could get to where you're living for free or almost for free, what you're used to using to pay your rent is what you can now use to pay your debt. So you've invested by buying the real estate, and then by that investment, you're able to pay off the debt faster. So instead of like putting money into stocks and paying off debt, if you could get like a duplex or something, you could house hack, a triplex, even a big house where you could rent out a couple rooms, you can reduce your living expenses where you have that extra cash to get the debt paid down much faster. Say you're paying $1,000 of rent every month and you can buy a duplex and that guy's paying your mortgage payment basically for you, then you can funnel that money into the debt and pay it down twice as fast as if you were just having those high living expenses. So that's a quick thought on the invest versus pay off debt question that's out there. Everybody's got a video about this and I haven't seen anybody propose an answer in this fashion. So if you like my take on it, please consider subscribing to the channel and smashing the like button down there. Don't do this one. No, do this one, but down there. So if you keep supporting me, I can keep making wonderful content like this for you. So thanks for coming by this video and we'll see you in the next one.